Hey everybody, Charlie Iron 2 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We last left off, we found out that Mr. Garrideb's wife, which is standing right beside him there, disguised as a maid, well, actually being his maid when company's around, Joan, got mad and slapped Mr. Garrideb, knocked a candle in the floor, and set the apartment on fire. Let's see what ramifications will ensue. I'm not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think, is when this happened. So at exactly the same time as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. I doubt that. A woman was stabbed, dude. The whole of Blightly could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? I like that slap sound effect. Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. You did. I warned you that although I knew that the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Ha ha ha. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories. Those relevant to the case, and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. I don't feel like we did official paperwork for the last case. So that's it, no more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. You guys are eager to get us out of here. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. So Seki-san will be waiting for us. And I'm going to have to give him an answer. Alright, do we need to examine this more? I don't think so. We can look here now that the screen is gone, so we should do that. What a miserable sight. Oh dear, but at least the whole room wasn't engulfed in flames. I suppose so. But my whole collection went up in smoke, you know. All those novels I adored so much. Tisk, well, John, whose fault is that? Not mine, that's for sure. Well, whoever may or may not be to blame. I'm quite sure you can buy some new old books to replace them, can't you? New old books. Bally nonsense. Does sound like a contradiction in terms, but then these two are full of contradictions. Hee hee, that's couples for you, Mr. Naruhodo, or so I've been led to believe. Alright, is everything else... Looks like everything else is good. We've looked at all of this. All right. I imagine we need to go talk to our clients at the prison. The twitchy fellow here. Oh, I'm at Briar Road? I thought I went to the prison. Did I not click the prison? Maybe I didn't click the prison. Oh no, they're going to the prison. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hell a crap. Oh. What's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there in front of the Gyarados house. That bike is going to be part of this too. What in the world is this guy? Are you the Jack off of a deck of cards? It's a dude, right? I think it is. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who are you calling an old man? You rum-looking nimny-pimney. Niminy-piminy. Who are you? You look like one of the hecklers from the Muppets, except for your hair's not gray. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Look at that chin. Who's this Horatio fella, eh? What are you on about? Excuse me? Eh? What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. Eh? A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law. Tisk. Fine, I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. This ain't over yet. Ooh, look at the pose. And the ascot. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? You look like a schoolboy outfit? You look like you're off a deck of cards. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What is that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here in the Gyarados residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. But you're like literally wearing like jewels and stuff. Mr. Gyarados mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Yes, a gentleman named Natsume? Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words ne'er could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances, at least. So, fair maiden. So, good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Sure, we'll see him in the courtroom. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Gyarados house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Well, if you didn't turn to talk to this person, maybe you could have. All right, Edgar Allan Poe. That's what he's meant to be, right? He's meant to look like Edgar Allan Poe. 19th of February, 6:31 p.m., local prison cell 9. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. Look like you're taking a poop, dude. We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no. Think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nipponese. Back to your alliteration, sir. And your Captain Ginyu poses. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Let's see what Mr. Sholmes will bring to this. Such is my belief, at least. It's you. The miserable, rotten spy. Herlock Sholmes, or Herlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything, per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Are you? How dare you? Herlock Sholmes. Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned. I like that. Bedamned. I'm going to use that. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And that there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Converse? Tell me about the cursed trial. Mr. Natsume, what do you mean by what you just said now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. 16, right, because he's a haiku crew writer. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. He didn't mean they were always found guilty. He meant none survived. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it. The last trial is going to be against the Reaper of the Bailey. I can't remember his name. But the Alucard looking guy. How much you want to bet? We'll see. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly. I didn't even count that, I should have. Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Why would you tell this man this? Mr. McGill did. What? Ah, I am impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accursed convicted, Lord Van Zykes, that's his name, Van Zykes, killed the man himself? I'm telling you, we're going to have to put him on trial. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. Ha ha ha! You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. I mean, that wouldn't make him a mass murderer. That would make him a serial killer. Mass murderer means you kill a bunch of people like you're a dictator of a country and you commit like genocide or kill like thousands of people like as one type of decree. This would be more like serial killing. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Arg, of course he is? Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypotheses. Maybe he's a vampire. What on earth do you mean by that? Excuse me while I get a drink. All right, let's talk about the Reaper. Not the Carolina Reaper either. Van Zykes is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to win in every case without exception. Ah, that's good. So Seki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there's both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. This is true. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right? However, those indicted by Lord Van Zykes cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking, and nobody thinks that that's odd. To disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage, perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown, perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. That can't be luck or coincidence. Lord Van Zykes is making that happen. I knew it. I'm a dead dodo done for doomed. Cursed lodgings. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe this place is cursed, or the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. They didn't take long then. Or, I said that wrong. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to the room on Briar Road, a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all? To believe, yes, to believe! To believe. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me? Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria. If you recall. The Buria. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes. You mean because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with a victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yeah. I'm a little surprised that answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. Ha ha ha. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. I'm dead. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Yeah, we should go. Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it is imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Miss Susato, yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. So Seki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. That was the end of the sentence, and I said it like I was going to say something else. Sorry for the poor delivery, fellas. Save your progress. Yes, I do believe I shall. We're on 5, so let's go back up to 1. Yes. Okay, hit that Z button. All right, familiar sight outside the Old Bailey, right? 20th of February, 9:23 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We're on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. I agree. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. There he is. You couldn't have wore a better fitting suit? That's probably all he has. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you all right? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. I doubt he slept last night. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression, but I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. Hate it when that happens. You try so hard to get to sleep that you force yourself to stay up inadvertently. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literally people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. As you tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Assured Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Usato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence, isn't it? Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Dykes. Is that right, Miss Usato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Dykes is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey. He stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.